All right, we're back. We're just discussing the ramifications of Rind's beating at the hands of the Bluecoat sergeant that was interrogating him, and there is no clear ruling. It doesn't appear in the rulebook that we can find at the moment for what happens when you suffer trauma during a phase of downtime, specifically the entanglements phase, of whether or not you would actually be taken out for that entire downtime phase. But until we actually get a ruling on that, or if anyone in chat maybe wants to tell us if they found something, or we get a ruling on the Google Plus group, I'm just going to go with this. We're going to make Rind sacrifice one downtime activity. So instead of 2, he only gets 1, as he is laid up from the beating and just the massive psychological trauma that he just underwent, which has fueled his hatred of the Bluecoats. We also have to go back, though, to that scene because I had forgotten that he needs to resist. He doesn't need to, but he has the option to resist each of those consequences, one of which was talking, fessing up, and gaining the +3 heat as a result. So he did resist the beating, so he's going to take level 1 harm, and I'm going to say it's going to be bruised ribs. Okay, so Rind right now has a level 1 harm of bruised ribs and a level 2 harm of broken jaw, which he got from the score. He's looking pretty rough.
Oh, I love it.
Don't worry, Rind. I'll take care of the ladies. You can handle everything else.
So you're able to kind of roll with the punches. You're like, oh, it does not feel good. But is it enough to actually make you squeal? What do you do?
Oh, like a piggy.
Okay. So again, I'm rolling on an attribute.
Yeah, you have to explain how your choice.
Just give me 1 second.
Just for flavor's sake, like there's never a point where I would be like, no, if you can't explain it, you don't get to resist, you know. But
no, I'm saying I'm just you know, the only resolve really has conversational. I know it's
resolve kind of seems like the natural one to me, though.
What's that?
Resolve kind of seems. I mean, you know, it's basically
that's the only one I could roll. That's no. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So resolve is what I'd roll, and
that poor lady had been taken over by those lampblacks,
Oh,
and we were passing by, and she was so upset.
I could see an
helped
argument
her
made for
out.
prowess as just like pain tolerance, like you don't squeal.
John, I'm not necessarily going to do this, but just hypothetically, I'm curious. I'm curious. If I made myself incapable of talking through like self-harm or something like that,
then you'd take more harm.
I would take more harm, but I would.
You're not in a good place harm-wise.
I know.
that is crazy. Are you really gonna go that route?
Bite his own
No,
tongue.
I'm saying
You're gonna
I'm
bite your
honestly
tongue
curious. I just want to understand like better. Obviously, for instance, like prowess like that, right? So if I tried to knock myself out, I'm not going to do that. But you know, then I couldn't talk. So if I successfully did that,
Yeah, I
then
bet.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of wing it with the consequences, but
I mean,
if
I'm
that's
not gonna, I just wanted to understand sort of the framework we're working with.
you're hardcore. Like that would get around. That would get around like the city. Like the fact that like this one
Now
guy
you
was
want
brought
me
in
to-
for
now
questioning.
you
Like
want me to do that, don't you?
he's like, "You'll never make me talk." Whack. Slams his head down on the ground.
Oh my god, you want me to do that so bad.
You gotta say
No,
it in
this
an
is-
accent.
No problem. All right,
We're
I'll do
taking
it.
you live. Come on.
Fine, whatever. I'll do it.
Are you really gonna? Oh, okay.
I get a better roll, right? If I
No, wait. I don't know if David was there for when you said if you take another level 1 harm, it bumps everything up. You'd be up
Well,
to 3,
No,
2,
he's
and
got
1.
he has 2 level
I got
1
2
slots, so he still has one that he can
2
fill.
level 1
I mean, I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
But if he's knocking himself out, I would say that'd be level 2 harm.
Here's what I'm going to try to do, John.
Oh, there
Hear
are
me
2
out.
slots. Oh, I see.
Hear me out.
Mhm.
I have a broken jaw, right?
Yep.
And I know with enough pain, I'll probably pass out.
Oh,
Oh my god.
So what I'm going to do, knowing
you're
that
gonna
my
take him under the jaw.
is
You're just
I'm
gonna
gonna
Right
go.
there, Copper. Oh, yeah.
It kind of redacts the interaction. I apologize, but whatever. It's fine.
What are you gonna do? So what are you gonna do with your jaw?
So I've got this broken jaw, right?
Mhm.
And I'm basically gonna God, I'm not gonna have a good fluffy way of saying this. Whatever. I'm gonna look him straight in the eye, real crazy like.
Yeah, because it is, and
because I'm tied, right, or something like that.
Yeah, you're restrained. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's sort of like going at my torso with some fists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look at him. I'm gonna laugh, and what's that, Ted? Go ahead.
Well, how is this a resist?
Well, we're working it out. Just tell me what your plan is here.
Hey, we don't have to do it. Just y'all seemed excited, so I was gonna go with it. But I was trying to understand if there was. Anyway, what I was trying to understand before Ted was essentially if it was a charisma / intimidation type thing where I would resist someone asking me questions through those abilities, or if there was a way to literally debilitate myself.
The mechanic is that you roll a resistance roll to resist talking.
Yeah.
But there's nothing saying that we can't wing this and just be like, if you have an interesting solution to not talk that doesn't involve resisting not talking, that actually involves like impairing yourself so you can't talk, then I think it's fucking awesome. So
do you think if I roll really well I can get a little extra reputation?
No, I'm at what are you doing? I just need to know, like, narratively what are you doing, and then I'll figure out the mechanic.
Narratively what I'm doing is I'm staring in the eye and say, you can't interrogate a sleeping man, and I'm going to take my broken jaw and just sort of like slam it against the table as hard as I can.
Oh man,
this isn't going to make healing you any easier.
I know.
You're going to be.
I know I have a good dog with the objective.
We're changing your nickname to Mumbles after this. You know that.
I know, right? With the objective of making myself pass out from the pain.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we could do that under the existing mechanic. You can roll prowess as for resistance.
Right. Let's do it. Why not?
Actually, I could buy resolve that too, like just having the fortitude of spirit to actually will yourself to inflict that amount of pain on yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, mechanically, I guess I have the same score for either. It doesn't really matter, but whatever. Let's go for it.
Does this count as a desperate act?
No, it's not. It's not an action. It's not an act. Oh, but before you roll it, though, you know that you are going to be taking.
That's true. So I guess I'm not getting an advantage. Sorry.
You know what?
I had prowess, but I forgot that it was not.
It doesn't matter because we're going back in time to do this roll. You're doing 2 resistance rolls. You already got massive amounts of stress from resisting the pain of the beating, and the stress doesn't roll over after getting trauma. Like, it's all cleared after trauma. So you might as well just go full bore stressed out. You know what I mean? Like,
because it clears once he takes the trauma.
Because he clears it. Yeah, mechanically you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, so.
And you might roll 2 or 3 6s there, and.
Yeah, if you actually roll critical, you'll
clear stress.
You'll clear stress. Yeah. Wouldn't that be so? Actually, there is actual. Well, how many stress did you go over to get into trauma? Like, how much were you in excess?
3?
I had 2 in excess. I took
2 in excess.
5. I took 5. It took 3 to get to the trauma, and I had 2.
Right.
So,
could you actually clear enough to not take the trauma in the first place?
That's what I'm wondering.
Interesting.
Let's see.
I can't see any way this is going to end well.
I'm sorry if I made this needlessly convoluted.
No, I like it because we're learning it. We're learning it. It's cool.
I was more going for something that was fun. You know.
This is when we wish we had the little CCTV video of this interrogation room. We could watch.
I'm trying to scar this guy for life. I'm trying to have. He's gonna have nightmares about me.
Where's
one of those nightmares is actually gonna be me, and I'm gonna kill him. It's good.
This is like the Joker, man. You can't interrogate me. I'll interrogate myself, man.
Yeah, that is very.
Wait, how does anyone know what's the rule for clearing?
When you roll
resistance. That's why I need to resistance.
When you roll a critical on resistance, you clear. Oh, yeah. If he rolls 2 dice, he can only clear 2 stress. So this is not a net advantage for him unless he rolls unless he can get a bonus die and roll 3 6s. Is the only way he can actually avoid the trauma.
Yeah, which he can't. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. But
minus highest
so mechanically, David,
yeah,
you should just go with the resolve and just refuse to talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, we know
story-wise,
the other one was really good, but yeah, taking more damage, doesn't make sense.
You should just resist the urge to talk.
All right,
and hope it works. Sorry, John.
What's one more clock to recover? No. Ted is actually.
I want to
he-
commit to it just for the
Block where his
story.
jaw actually falls off. And he walks around with just upper teeth and a tongue hanging out.
Yeah, I want to say like you won't take harm because it's such a cool story element, but it's the taking the harm which makes it such a cool story element. So,
I know. Okay, John.
Yeah.
Before I make my final decision and hog off the limelight here, sorry guys. If I succeed at this, is it fair that there will be some sort of psychological harm or on this cop that I can take advantage of in the future?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, good. Okay.
Is it worth a reputation point, or is it more just this guy?
Well, you'll have to.
All right, we'll try it. Whatever. Fuck it.
This guy's going to have nightmares because of this.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it for the story, and because I want to haunt this guy. It's not a great idea, but we're gonna go for it.
Oh, haunt.
Yeah.
I thought you said hump.
Okay, so input value. Should I do a bonus? You said I could do a bonus. I'm confused.
No, you just. What are you going to use? Prowess.
Prowess.
Yeah.
You just roll it straight.
Okay.
Make a wreck roll.
So I can't take stress to get another dice. Is what you're saying?
No, not for resistance. That's only for
We'll
actual.
see how this goes.
4. Okay.
4.
So you would suffer another 2 stress. It doesn't really matter.
I thought you had 2 prowess.
I do.
Why did I only roll 1 die?
Because he's only got it in finesse, right?
I have 2 in finesse. Oh, it's not cumulative. Oh.
Right.
It's only
Your
the first
prowess
vertical
rating is
line.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I totally misunderstood that. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I should have done resolve then. Shit. I thought, okay, that was a misunderstanding what was going. It's fine.
Yeah,
Just go with it.
well, you should if you could have found a way to make insight work. That's where your money is. You got 3 in that.
Yeah, it's fine. Honestly, it's fine. I understand better now. I
Alright.
misunderstood the mechanic.
All right,
That's why I
so
was asking about. That's why I was asking about 2 dice because I was like, I thought I would get 2. It's
Yeah.
fine.
all right, so it doesn't mechanics all aside doesn't matter. It's the same exact end result, but describe again exactly what happens. What was your line? You had a good line, but it kind of got lost amidst the.
Dead, sleeping men can't talk or something?
Sleeping men can't talk. Sleeping men can't talk. I stare him in the eyes.
That's so fucked up, dude. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, so
So it works.
thankfully we're watching a TV show, so we actually do get to see the reaction of the blue coat as you fucking just wallop yourself, and the pain causes you to just slump to the chair like falls over and you crash at the ground, and he lurches up. And he just looks around like, did anyone see that? And he forgets that he's in the room by himself, you know.
You probably throw up a little too. On the floor.
And he kind of peers over you, and like his shadow kind of like puts a pall over your body, like blocking out the electroplasmic guttering light. And he's like, just shakes his head. He's like, crazy fucking scovlanders. And like an arm reaches down to grab your collar, and then it cuts.
I love it.
And then the actual cut is a blue coat carriage like hurling your broken body out onto the steps of the apothecary shop. Yeah.
Oh, tubes.
Y'all needed. Okay, so
That's something on the stoop, my boy.
for those watching,
there's
the end result is that he has level 1 bruised ribs. He has trauma of being obsessed with revenge against the Bluecoats, and he loses 1 downtime activity. So now you are only granted 1 downtime activity, but don't forget, we'll get there in a second, but that you can spend 1 coin for an additional downtime activity.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so now back. That was the entanglement. So that was rough. I mean, that was rough for a lot of story reasons as well. But don't forget too that it doesn't get much worse than entanglements, because you had the heat 6+ chart. If you reduce your heat, it's a little bit less.
So note to selves, guys. Maybe rioting is not the best option for next time.
Well,
Something
it also
quieter.
might make you think, Audric, that because that was almost not the riot was a requisite, but exposure and making a statement was sort of part of the deal, and that you as criminals would understand that what happened to Rind was a very likely consequence. You might start to question the motives of Mr. Poole's client.
Of course. Well, I actually questioned that as soon as he said that he wanted a big show of force about it. Like, he didn't want the show of force to be attached to him or his client. He wanted it attached to some guys who it was a deal they couldn't refuse because we were starting out. We needed that.
Right.
Now we've got a crazy mofo who beats himself up to avoid talking. Right. We've got a public score. You've got a very good-looking guy hanging out in the silk shop, you know, with the top hat.
Okay.
But never mind that.
This is all for the good, gentlemen. However, going forward, I think we need to be somewhat more circumspect and professional about things.
As you are both looking over Rin's splayed out body in the back room. All right, so
I mean, really, it's not seemly, Rin. Like, on the carpet, sir.
All right, so
that's
on
entanglements. We're done.
That's in entanglements. Now the last phase of downtime is downtime activities. Okay, and this is where you kind of get much more of a say in what goes on. So the basic way this works is that you you get 2 per character. Each of you gets 2, and we kind of go around the horn and whatever we feel is natural. Except in this case, Rin gets 1 because of his trauma. All right. Now,
I think Rin should go first.
You can get 1 additional downtime activity per 1 coin spent. That does not mean that it's capped at 1 additional. It means like however many coin you spend, that's how many extra downtime activities you get. Okay, but don't forget that you should get permission from your crew members unless you're trying to be devious and not raid the lair.
The stash.
So I believe that you all took 1 coin.
Yeah.
So you know, just keep that in mind. That's the only one that you can speak for yourself. You know, otherwise it's like there might be an issue. And as far as any dice rolls that you take for any of these, any action rolls that you make for any of these downtime activities, you'll get +1 die if a friend or a contact helps you. Okay.
Right.
And you can also, when you make the roll, you can spend coin to improve the result level of the die roll by 1 level per coin spent. So, you know, if you end up getting a 4 or 5, you can spend a coin and actually get a 6. You know what I mean? Or if you get a 6, you can actually spend coin and get a critical, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so make sure you're aware of that. Now, if you want the summary of downtime activities, it's on page 159 of the PDF, which is at the end of the actual like detailed descriptions of each one. Now, this is pretty obviously the most important part of downtime, okay? Because this is especially the one that is called the long-term project, which is the sort of catch-all one that doesn't really specifically define other ones. Because this is where you do your research and you're gathering information and things of that nature. So it can often be the place where you dig up new scores. Like if one hasn't presented itself to you already, this would be where you would actually be proactive about it. Like, where are there opportunities? You know, that kind of thing would be a long-term project of that, and you would describe to me like, well, how do you go about finding out where these opportunities are? You know, like I fed you one immediately off the bat just so that we could just jump right into the game. But now you got to create that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna. You don't want to be reactive. You want to be proactive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to tell you a story. You need to tell a story.
Well,
I've got a
in
couple
which
ideas
case,
after the last session.
yeah, I have an idea. If you guys wouldn't mind me going first.
Yeah, you guys go first.
You wanna
I
go
just
first?
took a lot of camera
Alright.
time. So.
Okay.
All right,
Spotlight
so-
switches to Audric Michter.
I'm sorry, what?
The spotlight switches to Audric Michter.
So, one of the ideas I had for Adric as a character was that he's the sort of con artist who mooches on the producers Zero Mostel, right, is always working the old ladies for cash to produce, right?
Yeah.
So I want to do that, and I have the idea of a long-term project of trying to find and then seduce and whatever else is necessary, some wealthy woman or man in the sort of upper crust of Doskwall to begin the process of working my magic on them, and then whether that would just simply yield cash or contacts or prospects or something like that. Do you see what I'm getting at, John?
Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
I do. So
So that's the long-term project I would like to initiate.
okay, that sounds like a plan.
There's Widow Macumber or Old Man whatever, this, that, the other thing. I can make it up. You can make it up. But that's the long-term project I want to work on, is that when I'm not on scores with the crew, I'm at now I've forgotten the name of it. Hold on. The Silver Swan, and maybe I meet somebody, such and such a person there is looks like a likely mark, and I begin the process.
Right. Okay. Give me 1 second.
Yes. I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm guessing this is probably for what I'm envisioning, like a 6-segment clock or something like that. It takes a long time to properly bring the mark in and really fully realize the cash potential.
Well, yeah, because you're starting from scratch. You're not starting with
Exactly.
anybody that you know.
Exactly.
Right. So let me just get a thing here.
I think is good. I think it's good.
Just gonna find a likely person here.
Yeah, Adric's not picky. Whoever looks like a good mark, Adric will work it, one way or the other.
Okay, so Adric,
it's important to remember.
You want?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say was, Adric, as an actor, no longer really cares about the stage. It's all about really fooling that one target. That's right. Who I want to act for.
Right, got it. Okay, all right. So you want an upper crust, slightly older woman, right?
Or man, whatever.
It doesn't. Okay, so you tell me. Like, give me description. Don't not specifics, because I'll determine the actual person. Right. But what does this mark specifically look like? Where do they get their money from? Like, what are they tied to? What kind of opportunities are you looking to get out of them?
Tell me something about the Silver Swan. It's a pleasure barge. Now, is that savory or unsavory?
It's very savory, actually. It's on the surface. It's in Brightstone, right? So yes. Which is the noble district. It's the cleanest, the safest place. So, and it trawls along the Grand Canal, and all the notables wanted to get a ticket to the Silver Swan. And of course, like everything else in Duskwall, the Silver Swan has another layer, below decks, where certain activities may or may not take place for those who are in the know. But its general reputation is very savory and very exclusive.
Very good. So now imagine, if you will, Adric in his finest, his cuffs just so, his hat precisely calculated. He's there at the Silver Swan. He has made his greetings to Eldrin Pritchard and perhaps one or two other of the staff that he knows, and his eye alights on a table not in the gambling ring, and by gambling, of course, it's all very very tasteful gaming, not this cockfights and that sort of thing. And there is an elderly man, and I believe it is possibly his sister there, who is watching him, and he is not paying attention to her, you see, because he is so focused on his game and perhaps his cigar and a drink, and she is feeling sort of alone, not being attended to by her brother who she came with, and why I should just come up next to her and begin casually speaking with her. I believe she's probably in her mid-60s and very proper, but her style suggests that perhaps when she was younger, she was a more, not a goer or anything so gauche at all, but someone who certainly knew how to have more than one drink and have a good time doing it, and perhaps dance a bit. And I shall make a comment about
perhaps dance a bit.
The gambling at the table, and perhaps if she was not so interested in what was happening there, she might accompany me to the bar for a glass of wine or something.
Okay.
Make my moves that way. But so I can't tell much about her immediately, but she seems, I'm taking my cue on her opportunity as it were, rather than. But she's, you know, clearly wealthy. She wouldn't be here. Her brother's gambling. Perhaps he's putting down a lot of money on the table. So there's money in the family.
Well, it's more like this, Audric. It's sort of, you are cued into the movers and shakers in the city. It doesn't mean that you have contacts among them, but you definitely know about them. And anyone that you don't, Pritchard can tell you about.
Perfect.
So what I'm actually asking you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is no, it's a good setup. I like the setup. It's good. But it's sort of, you know what opportunities this woman can bring. And so what I need to hear from Ted, to me as the GM, is what kind of opportunities do you want to get out of this woman? Like what ties does she have? What can she get you? You know, like is it something like she dabbles in the arcane, or is she very religious? Or is she a member of a Leviathan ship fleet noble family? Does she have ties to the university? You know, stuff like that. Like what opportunity? Like
initial thinking is that, and maybe this is a mechanic we can work on here. I'm thinking my primary motivator here is she wealthy?
Yep.
Can I bilk her for something? Right? Is she at all susceptible to my charms? And we can just make this a cash arrangement. But if I have an opportunity for someone who might, one way or the other, either provide us with product or improve our access to either product or market. This would be the sort of two things I would be after. So if, for example, she is connected to people at the university in some way, perhaps her brother is a professor of, arcano-linguistic mechanical translatory machineries or whatever, then she might be someone that I would go after, not because she necessarily could provide me with those things, but because through access through her, we could get to her brother or something like that. So I guess Adric's probably the sort of self-indulgent kind of me sort of guy that the first thing he's thinking is, does she have money and can I have some of it?
Right.
And then if he stops to think about it for a minute, he'd say, well, if I had to choose between that rich lady and that rich lady, that one's known to have a large collection of tantric monkey skulls that we could sell. So I'll steal those. That'll be great. So I'd go for her.
Okay. All right. So you have yes. No, I got it. That's great. So your mark that you have found in such a manner on the Silver Swan, you've had a lot of time to think about this, and you've decided, like, now this woman is vulnerable. I might be able to get something out of her. And you have sighted your sights. You have put your sights upon the lady Ramira Cleland. Okay.
Ramira
Cleland. It's Remira, and it's Cleland.
Okay, I'm writing all this down, John.
All right.
Okay.
The Lady Ramira Cleland is a woman that has too much money and too much time. All right, so she
I love her, John.
It's just the way that you basically described, like the Lord Cleland. Let's call him
husband.
Let's call him Amison.
Sister, husband. What are we talking here?
The husband. The husband.
The husband.
The husband.
Husband, Lord
Amison. Amison.
Husband. Oh, I shall cuckold him at least twice.
The Lord Amison Cleland, all right, is ancient. Okay, he is on his deathbed. He is basically like 87 years old. He is choleric and coughing blood and just basically useless. But he's extremely wealthy. It's one of the big families in town. He actually runs obsidian up from Aruvia on the rail lines. Okay.
Well, he lives in a different town.
No, he lives here. His fortune is here.
Aruvia? Oh, right.
Aruvia is down south. It's like the desert kingdom. The Red Sashes are Eruvians, actually, that are a gang that is against the Lamplacks. Just so you're aware, could be of use. Because the Red Sashes are sort of default your allies now because you're against the Lamplacks. You know what I mean? Don't forget that as far as opportunities go. But the Lord Amison Cleland is this ancient guy, and the Lady Cleland, even though she's 60 years old, still has a little bit of spark in her, and she is not feeling it with her husband anymore. But she was a commoner who was jumped up because of the marriage a long time ago. Amison just fell in love with her. So if he dies, the question of the inheritance, who gets the money, is in jeopardy. So
I shall be ever so careful to assist her in the proper disposition of each and every coin.
It has been rumored, everyone is quite aware of Lord Amison's illness, and it is rumored that the Lady Ramira is going to take steps to ensure that his death happens sooner rather than later. And that that's what everyone is basically talking about. No one knows if Lady Ramira actually has it in her, but everyone's like, well, yeah, she should. All right. So right now you are seeing the opportunity for a con.
Yes.
That you can.
So I need to roll an action now.
That you can bilk her for money. So what you need to do is on your character sheet.
Yeah.
Is to start a clock first, Ted.
Clocks. Add a clock.
Yes, add a clock.
How many segments do you want me to put on this? I thought this sounded like a 6-segment job, honestly.
Yeah, I'll go with 6. 6 sounds good to me.
Okay. We're gonna call this clock Lady Cleland.
Call it the.
Or should I call it the Cleland Fortune?
Yeah, or the seduction of. Yeah.
Ooh, seduction of Ramira.
Well, what's the goal? You want money, right? Like seducing her might not necessarily yield money, but the.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna call this the Cleland. I'm trying to think of something alliterative like cuckoldry, but more to the money. The Cleland Cash. I'm calling this clock the Cleland Cash.
CACHE?
Yes.
Nice.
Actually, yes. I was perfect. Got it. Splendid. All right, now.
All right.
Dimension roll, right?
Yes. So yeah. But
prowess.
Let's see how many you get here.
Or my resolve to consort and sway.
Now, don't forget that you guys, you two can, well, maybe not Louis. It depends on what you're trying to do. Is you can always jump in. If Audric is okay with it, or if Audric wants help, you can be a part of it. Like when they say like friends or contacts give +1D, the friends means like you guys.
Right. Well, the only contact I can imagine giving me help would be Eldrin with an introduction.
Is that a help where we would also take stress for it, or is that just?
No, because he's the one making the roll.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like you would give. It's not like a score.
Okay.
Teamwork thing. It's just that he would just get a straight +1 die. You wouldn't suffer for it. As far as I know, but I'm going with that for now.
Well, I mean, I think, can I use Eldrin, at least for this first roll, as the introduction? And
Oh, Pritchard? Yeah, I totally buy that, absolutely.
Okay, so there's a +1.
You can also...
yes.
I should, for viewers and people watching on YouTube, I should say that last session we made a mistake. I made a mistake saying that you could only ever get 1 bonus die period for an action roll. That's not true. You can get 1 from your teammates or your contacts, and then you can get another 1 from either pushing yourself or a devil's bargain.
I can't imagine what the devil's bargain here would be.
If you two have a devil's bargain for him, you can say one if one occurs to you. I don't have one off the top of my head, but they're always fun.
Bargain.
I got one. Yeah, the whole plan works, except she turns out to be a dominatrix, and I have to put up with her crap for years. No. I think.
How about? Oh, I got a devil's bargain for you.
Oh, okay.
Here's one. Lord Amison is immediately Lord Amison is aware of your con game, but he is too sick to be able to do anything about it.
Okay, so
that's the consequence. Is like the Lord,
he knows.
He is aware the entire time that he is being cuckolded.
So he could take steps.
But he's too sick to really do anything physically about it, but he will be aware.
No. That goes entirely against my modus operandi. The whole point is the acting.
Sure,
no one
absolutely.
should ever believe anything other than that I am what I say.
So you can push so if you don't want the Devil's Bargain, you can push yourself for 2 stress and take a die. Or you can just take the
I
1
have
stress.
another Devil's Bargain.
Oh.
Okay. It's better be better. It better be better than this dominatrix one I came with. I don't like that one either.
She may be aware of, because he's sickly and soon to die, whether by organic means or force. You may be able to con her, but she will demand like marriage, essentially, and so you'll be a taken man to the public.
Right.
You will
I
be
was
associated
wondering
with her.
maybe my con will work, but she'll demand that I kill Lord Amison.
You can't choose your own bargains, man.
No.
That's a pretty good bargain, though. It's pretty good.
You know what? I think here's my thought. It's the first foray onto this particular effort. If it fails, then I call it, a wash, and I walk away from it. I'm not ready to make a devil's bargain.
You hope you do. We'll see what this roll does, but
true, fair enough. But I don't think now's the time for the devil's bargain. The devil's bargain is when you've got to clinch it.
All right. So, do you want to push yourself or not?
Clinch it.
So I'm assuming this is a resolve roll.
I got that. Are you pushing yourself?
No.
Okay. So you're gonna get 1 bonus die. This is going to be. Well, this is just like an opening maneuver, right? You're just right.
This is my opening maneuver. Yeah.
This is your goal for this particular maneuver is to ingratiate yourself, right? Just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I understand
So
the way
is
these
this
long...
a long-term project, or
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
just filling a clock, or is it like?
Yeah. His result will fill ticks on the clock.
Right.
Okay.
And even with a critical success, it would not be possible for me to fill more than 5 segments out of 6. So. I see it as an opening salvo, introduction, spend some time together, et cetera, et cetera.
But the end result being that she wants to see you again, maybe.
Yes.
She's interested.
She's interested. We begin a relationship of one form or another that will, in future long-term project roles, move towards
Romance. Okay, so
move towards money.
money, right? Yeah, well, that's the key. Okay.
Romance is but the means.
All right, so you are not broaching your need for money right now, right? Like that's not going to come up. Okay, I'm just making sure.
I am introducing.
The reason I'm asking these questions is
another
because
great
this determines like your position and your effect level. Okay, that's why I'm asking. these
Oh, I
questions.
get it. Yes, I get it.
So
No, this is the gentle probing at this point.
okay,
You.
all right. So let's
Not
call
yet,
it. So she's a married
Not
woman.
writing any poetry.
She is a married woman. That's so I'm going to call it risky because just by
Oh,
default, I mean she's not a
Why
she is not looking for paramours, so it's risky, and I'm going to say that the effect for being
What I just do?
that's all right. You just hit resolve by accident. Let's see. It's going to be risky.
No, I was
and-
trying to set the.
It's all right. Let me think here.
All right.
Risky and standard. Risky standard.
I have
Okay,
another
risky
devil's
stand.
bargain idea if you want to hear it.
Well, I want to hear it, but I don't think I'll take it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Just remixing what you guys already said, essentially, as a combined idea. Devil's bargain is because she's looking for potentially someone to off her husband.
Yeah.
She knows you're doing a con on her, and she's encouraging.
Ooh.
It's exciting to her that you're doing a con on her,
See, now
but
that
she's
I
not
like.
duped.
I
She's
like
not
that for
duped
the
at all about it. She's trying to con you as well.
See, I like that for the second phase,
I did that.
where she's
What's
done
that?
some research. She figures out who I am.
All right.
But
That's a good bargain, though.
Yeah,
I like
it's
it.
a good bargain.
Yeah.
All right, so if I hit the resolve button.
No, you're not going to hit resolve. You're not resisting. You're taking an action. So what action?
Oh,
are you...
right. So this would be sway or consort.
You tell me.
Well, I gotta look them up here. Hold on a second.
I guess I should have kept my position effect thing until I hear what we're actually doing. Because if you're going to wreck her, I'd call it desperate.
Well, not gonna wreck her yet.
Oh, jeez.
Where are these things located? Where are the actions? Here we go. How to choose an action. Actions in play. Here we go. Consort. Okay. Socialize with friends and contacts versus sway.
I think it sounds like consort to me.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. I'm going to make a consort roll.
So consort, and you have 1 bonus die.
Okay, here we
go. From Pritchard.
So you said risky, right?
Risky standard.
Risky standard, 1 bonus die. All right.
5. Great. Okay, so
and that means oh, I've moved away on my bookmarks here. Where's downtime? Oh, it's page 139. That's right.
So you got a 5, so it's going to mark 2 ticks on the clock.
Hey, that's great. Okay, where's my character? Okay, so I can just probably click on these. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I gotta click there. Okay, great. 2 clicks on my clock.
All right, so
Fantastic.
Eldrin Pritchard is like this massively overweight, obese man who basically indulges all of his gluttonous impulses, but he's also extremely charming. Like everyone loves Eldrin Pritchard. Is just this hugely indulgent playboy who owns a Silver Swan. So he kind of rolls over with and tucks his arm under yours and introduces you to the Lady Ramira, and he whispers to you, she loves absinthe.
Perfect.
And
I
he,
love absinthe too.
And then at the same, like, he whispers that in your ear, and then with his other arm he just he's so smooth for like a big guy. He like just kind of just drops the absinthe glass like right into your open hand, and like so it's like it's ready for you to offer it to her, and he bows as much as he can, which is basically like a head nod for him, as much as he can, in front of Lady Ramira, who is looking very bored aboard the Silver Swan, just kind of scouting around. She has a cigarette in one hand and a drink in the other, and says, what does he say?
Well, what I say is, my lady, I think you'll find that this company aboard the ship will be greatly improved if you will join me in a glass of absinthe.
I don't believe I've had the honor.
I beg your pardon. I was remiss. My name is Adric. Adric, whatever my last name is.
Michter. Yes.
Michter. Adric Michter, yes.
And
it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pritchard's like, oh, I see that you two have already met. This is fantastic. Well, I'll leave you to it then. And he backs off, like kind of doing like motions as he backs off, So, Mr. Michter, why have I not heard this name before?
Well, there's so many reasons. The stories would take a very long time to tell. Would you care to join me for a drink?
Well, nothing better to do, I suppose. Lead the way, Mr. Michter.
Eldrin, a table for 2.
Of course, and he snaps his fingers. And the, 2 waiters actually like in Goodfellas actually like bring the table, like they right to your spot and like set it down. It's a good spot for the show.
Oh, capital.
Yep.
I do love the theater. At
So-
this point now, I want my other downtime activity is to take advantage of my vice, which is going to show some drinking too much.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is. But we can roll that separately or whatever. I don't want to hog everything. Chris
Yeah.
probably wants to do something finally.
No, yeah. I was just kind of setting the
Chris?
scene, but you do manage to woo her enough that she insists. She's just had a little bit of absinthe goes to her head. I just had the most wonderful time. I do insist that we meet again at some point.
It would be
Such
my
an interesting
honor
man.
and my pleasure, my lady.
And so you
At your beck and call.
excellent. So that goes over swimmingly.
Capital. A long-term project, oh boy.
All right, and your what? I didn't realize your vice was drinking. Why did I not know that?
Well, it's what it actually says is art, theater, wine, and lovers.
Ah, so
That's
we're
my
going.
vice.
We're going with the wine one, huh?
You know,
Pleasure, art, theater, wine, lovers.
all of the above.
I had honestly imagined that Adric's the sort of guy who goes to the Silver Swan, you know, gads about and has a few drinks and, you know, does his sort of social thing. And then on occasion, when he indulges in his vice, he has too much to drink, makes a bit of a scene, and ends up in bed with someone he doesn't know. That's the vice part.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're going to indulge vice as your second downtime activity, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so what you're gonna do? You're gonna drink too much.
And yeah, basically,
You're gonna carouse.
I'm going to carouse. That's a good word for it. Yes.
Okay.
Could you roleplay that for us? Could you make a scene?
I love you guys.
Of course, you do this after you've already said goodnight to
Yes,
lady. Yes,
yes.
of course. All
I'll
right.
Yeah.
escort her out to her carriage or whatever, and then I'll go right back into the Silver
Right.
Swan.
So it
and
just becomes like
celebrate.
a haze of the montage. It's like
I have swirling lights and dizziness and dancing.
yeah, and beautiful women,
Can
and
girls.
Pritchard is like just whirling you around the room, introducing you to everybody, and ha ha ha, their heads rearing back in slow
That's me.
motion and blah blah blah. Okay,
Got it.
so you're gonna indulge your vice. So I need you to roll your lowest attribute. Doesn't matter. It just has to be your lowest attribute. That's what.
So that
Insight
would
for
be my lowest attribute is insight. Yeah.
Yes. So you're gonna roll that puppy.
Okay.
And you're going to clear stress equal to your highest die result, but be aware that you only have 2 stress, Ted, so that if you
if I go overboard,
you overindulge.
So if
That's
you roll
always
more than
fun.
2,
what do I get?
3.
Oh fuck!
you overindulge.
You overindulge, so that's that.
Ah.
So
All right, so hold on, wait. I got to read what this means.
It's not great.
Indulging your vice.
You wake up
Overindulgence.
next to the blue coat that interrogated me.
So you get to choose if you attract trouble, if you brag about your exploits,
Don't do that.
or if you get lost because you have to return from your bender, or you are tapped. That's a rough one too, where you actually have to find a different purveyor.
Oh, I can't be tapped at this point. It would ruin my prospects with Lady Ramira.
So attracting
honestly,
trouble.
I kind of like the lost thing. End up in bed with someone I don't know.
Well, it's for like a few weeks. It's like whenever you chase a girl around Rome when you're backpacking through Europe and don't, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things. It's like you're gone. Like you're gone.
Right. So I would miss the next score. You're saying?
Well, you could do. How you could tie that in is you could actually tie it in and say like you were lost because you click 2 clicks with Lady Cleland. Maybe you have a whirlwind romance with her.
Oh, nice.
Like the goal is to get money. Like you could totally get it on tonight and in the next couple of weeks and still not get any money from her. You know what I mean? If you wanted to, that's just a suggestion. Or you could,
All of a sudden, you spend a week just like in the weird guest room in the massive like east wing of their.
yeah, just
like,
hearing the Lord like cough through the walls.
So if I took the entanglement, which chart would I be on, John?
You have to roll
First one?
the heat one.
I'd have to.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
The same one you rolled before. You have to roll the 6+ heat chart.
Oh, it's based on our current heat.
Yeah, man.
Oh shit! No, I don't want anything to do with that.
Nope.
I'm far too delicate for interrogations.
You could brag about it. You could brag about it because
Wouldn't that
but-
give us more heat?
Yeah, you get more heat.
I'm lost.
All right, I got it, John. Here's what happens. Scene:
All right.
the grand saloon at the Silver Swan.
Hmm.
I've had far too many absinthes. My coat is somewhere. I'm one arm around Eldrin, and I'm espousing my deep, passionate feeling for Lady Ramira. Eldrin, somewhat puzzled, knowing me as he does, thinking I'm taking the piss, having a bit of a laugh with him, which of course I am, but he says, well, if you're so madly in love with her, you fool, go tell her. Oh, you're right, man.
Genius.
What have I been thinking? Scene. Say anything. I've got a ghetto blaster above my head.
Awesome.
Or better still, a lute. And I'm
A bard with a lute on your shoulders.
I've
Yeah,
kidnapped
like
bard.
a whole bard.
Completely drunk. I've kidnapped a bard. I've dragged him out there. We're doing a little Cyrano de Bergerac scene outside your window.
Awesome.
Oh, my lady, blah, blah, blah. And I'm locked in her attic for 3 weeks while she uses me for her pleasure.
Awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
I love it. All right. So you're lost.
Okay.
Okay. When you come back, you get to heal any harm that you had. So you get to get rid of.
My cracked ribs under her tender care.
Yes.
Healed.
You're supposed to play a different character until this one returns from their bender.
Oh wow.
Oh, do it. That'd be great. That's
Yeah,
fun.
okay. Okay.
Otherwise, I'm thinking that there really would be no reason not to choose Lost because it's definitely like the lead.
Yeah.
No, I had the same thought. So here's what I'm thinking. Let me read the characters thing, character creation while Chris goes, because
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that right now.
Poor
But,
guy sitting there.
but we'll have to discuss that. We'll have to discuss that for the next score because that might have to be done. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna read character creation.
Great downtime though, Ted. Excellent.
That was awesome.
Very good.
I'm
That
going to.
right there is exactly how I imagined Adric.
That's great. That's
Awesome.
good stuff. Now, I'm definitely going to go to Chris. I just want you to be aware, Ted, that we are pressed for time, so I'm going to discount it right now. But you remember that you can do another downtime activity for another coin.
No, I don't do it.
Just don't forget that you could do that. Okay.
I'm
And
not forgetting it. I
for your roll for the clock, you could also have increased your result level by spending coin. Don't forget that as well.
Well, that may again, like along with the Devil's Bargain, that might be how I clinch it.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Clinch
All right.
it.
Oh, speaking of, we switch scenes to Clinch Whitefield, I assume, with his arms up to the elbow in blood with the Rind.
Right. So
Is this a spleen?
So
Oh,
healing
God.
Rind, I think, is one of Rind's activities. Like he does a
It is.
recovery activity.
Yes.
You want me to do that
I
real quick?
can help him out with.
That's going to be David's turn. Whenever it's David's
Right.
turn. So yeah, you don't have to do that.
So on my turn, there are two things that I need to accomplish. One,
Okay.
I'm going to try and handle some of this heat because somebody freaking has to.
Nice.
Um,
Taking one for the team. I was
And
hoping
two,
someone would do
I have
that.
an idea for a long-term project.
Okay.
So let me try and handle the heat first.
Okay. Let's do the heat. So you have to say what you do to reduce the heat level.
So
first.
my idea was that immediately after that score, I kind of I come back out and sort of offer my services as a doctor to this young man who's been shot.
Okay.
I don't know how I pass myself as a legit doctor, but then through treating him, I reduce the sort of the idea that we're responsible for this.
I love it. I think that's fantastic. Actually, let's call him Caro.
Oh, Kimmy.
Caro. Karro. I mean, sorry.
Cool.
Carro.
Cool.
And
So
he-
maybe
he-
Caro isn't super well to do.
He's a 14-year-old boy,
Okay.
and he's not well to do. But he had promise. Remember, that was the whole key. Is that boy had promise.
That was,
Right.
That's the reason I chose him.
So I'm so sorry. What has happened to you? This is horrible, and I offer my services gratis to get this bullet out of you and patch you up.
His mother just weeping. He had just gotten a scholarship to the Sparkwright
So,
Tower in Charter Hill.
Because I can't take him back to the herbalist shop. I make a house call, so I like go with him and his mother.
Ooh, the
and
black
I'm
bag.
I've got him in a bedroom or whatever, and I'm like, I've got my black bag, and I'm like pulling the bullet out and sewing it up.
Nice.
Which I think is a tinker.
Yeah, I love it. That sounds good to me. You can apply your Physicker thing too if that does apply somehow.
So Physicker is, you may tinker with bones, blood, and bodily humors to treat wounds or stabilize the dying. You may study a malady or a corpse. Everyone in your crew gets +1 die to their healing treatment rolls.
Okay, so yeah.
So I think I just roll tinker.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I don't know if like that applies in any mechanical way.
Yeah, I don't see how that would actually help that kid. Yeah.
Okay.
Except unless I was running a clock for him, but we're gonna judge by how well you roll here. Yeah. So the mother is like hovering and weeping, and she's doing the thing where she wants to be there, but she's also kind of like grossed by you pulling, sewing them back together.
Something where we use position at all, or is it just that the numbers determine how much?
No, there's always position in effect. So, and
Okay.
if you're doing an action, if it's a fortune roll, then that's not the case. But this is an actual.
I don't know
action.
what like a heat reaction. Let me find the heat loop.
Oh, the heat thing, right?
Yeah, because that's what I'm doing.
Maybe you can sort with your friend, or maybe you command the fear local surgeons so they're fit to reduce heat according to the result: 1 to 3, 1, 4 to 5, 2, 6, 3, critical 5. Okay, so yeah, it's still okay. So you're gonna tinker to reduce heat. Kind of cool, actually. It works out perfectly. So I'm gonna call it controlled because you have like your tools in a quiet place, and
cool.
You set up the environment. And we'll call it. Let's call it great effect.
Super.
You want to push or anything, or
no?
Devil's bargain it? No.
Nope.
Alrighty. Let's see it. 4. Okay, so you are going to reduce heat by 2.
All right.
So what are you guys down to? 4. That's
But
good.
now I can go.
That's good because it puts you down on a lesser chart for entanglement.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, until we do another score.
until you do their score. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Cool. So how does that work? It's just the highest number you get, it reduces the heat by a certain amount? Or
Yeah, it's 1 to
just
3
all
is
that
1, 4 to 5 is 2, 6 is 3, and a critical is 5
Great.
for heat. Okay, so the end result of that though is that you do manage to sew him up. He will live, which is good.
Yay.
And the mother is overwhelmed. She's in your debt, basically. She doesn't really have much. She's basically like we'll call her a house servant at a upper crust merchant in night market. So she's a woman of little means. But let's say this: she's a maidservant at a well-to-do merchant in the night market.
Cool.
She owes you a favor.
Awesome.
Another word, so
Favor.
What
might
was
be an
her-
opportunity
sorry.
there. Her name?
Yep.
Let's call her.
Wouldn't it be great if she worked at the
Maidservant.
Cleveland house?
Let's call her Daphne. Daphne. Let's just call her Daphne. Daphne and her son Caro, who got a full scholarship at a very young age to the Sparkwright Tower at Charter Hill University, which is where they train the men who maintain the lightning barrier. So he's a man of great promise in science and engineering. A young man. Okay.
And then my second thing is that I want to start a long-term project.
Okay.
This might be something that is pretty complicated and takes a long time. But essentially, both as something that we could sell down the line and as something that we could use, I want to create. I'm gonna research like bodies and spirits and like where the soul sits and then what happens at the moment of death and shit like that.
Oh, okay. So
And
that's
I
some
want to
like
create like a weapon or some kind of like method to either like hide or delay death from like the bells and crows.
okay. So
I
okay.
want to like create some kind of like magic item or arcane like weapon.
Wow.
That, like when you kill someone with it, it's
The bell
not
doesn't toll
like
right
the bells
away?
don't ring and the crows don't come. At least for like
For
some time.
a
or-
delayed amount of time. I
or-
love it. Yeah, I think that's perfect. That'd be a multi-part project. Like
Sure.
one
So
would
I
be
think-
long term for research, and then another one would be acquire an asset.
yeah. I want to like get started, but I understand that it's like
Actually,
awfully long.
it might be it might be one long term because acquired an asset is something that's sort of like a one and done sort of thing. They actually say like if you're crafting an item like for permanent use, it would actually be more of a long term project.
Okay.
So why don't we call it a 12-part clock?
Sure.
Yeah.
And that will
sounds
encompass.
complicated.
That's going to encompass everything. Like unless I read differently. For now, I'm going to read up on it. But let's call it a 12-part clock that encompasses the research and the creation of the thing.
Right.
So, actually, let me give 1 second because I got the things here. Crafting. All right. So you are inventing a formula for a plan for a new item of your design. You need to study it as a long-term project. Most new formulas or designs will require an 8-segment progress clock to invent and learn.
Okay.
That's what. Okay. So let's call it. Let's switch it back to an 8 clock. Okay.
Fine by me.
So creation questions. This is kind of cool. I haven't. I read this through once, but I didn't pay attention to it too much. Okay, so I ask, what type of creation is it, and what does it do? So we know what you want it to do. You want it to delay the crematorium's response.
Yeah.
To a soul leaving the body, right?
Yep.
Okay. And we want it to be an item, correct? Like a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I want it to. We'll see. What final form?
So do you want it to be mundane, alchemical, arcane, or sparkcraft?
That's a really
kinda-
good question.
I think it. I mean, I think that arcane or sparkcraft would probably be the only answers to that
because it's
because you're dealing with a
that
soul.
makes sense. Yeah, I think it's like I think like I'm yeah, my gut is like some combination of like arcane and alchemical. Like I'm almost thinking it's like something like I could blow at with like a blowgun and it's like a poison. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you could make it alchemical if it would be some sort of drug or something that would actually prevent,
Right.
Like would
You know
put,
what, yeah.
prevent the soul from leaving. You know what I mean? Like it would actually put them in some sort of hyperstasis or something like that.
You know what it is? I think it's Sparkcraft. I want to make like a miniaturized kind of like spirit anchor. Like I'm gonna take the spirit anchors that we already have and kind of try and miniaturize them and stuff and like make them like temporarily like anchor the spirit in such a way that it's hidden from the crematorium.
Okay,
to
cool.
The body.
That's cool.
That's cool.
So it's like a weapon that has like a tiny spirit anchor in it, or like as a like. I want to
I'm imagining like a little, like a bug that you shoot at somebody and it like hooks onto their forehead and holds their
Yeah,
soul.
I'm not sure what the final form is, but I think it's like a tiny machine or something.
Yeah,
I love it. Okay.
it's got to have a lot of brass on it.
So the player asks, "What's the minimum quality level of this item?"
Yeah.
So I have to determine the magnitude of this thing. Give me 1 second. I guess I got the sheet up for that. It's gonna be pretty big. I mean, that's a heavy duty fucking with existing rules.
Right.
Like things are regulated in the city according to how this shit goes down. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're going directly against the spirit wardens, who are like your number one enemy.
Is
Right?
this something that's even possible at our tier, or is that like?
It is with enough money.
Just like start it.
With enough money, it will get you anything. Why money's so important?
Perhaps the Lady Ramira will bankroll your invention.
Okay, so
Or you could anchor her husband.
we want it to work on a single person, right?
Yeah.
So that's 0. Duration. How long do you want it to delay the calling of the crows?
Like a day.
A day makes it
Oh,
4.
that is so perfect for taking out her husband.
That makes it 4.
culpability.
Tier and quality in the force. That's powerful. I think there's weak, moderate, strong, serious, powerful, overwhelming, and devastating. I would call it powerful, which is also 4. So that is an 8 for quality. Quality 8. Let's write this down for my own notes. Okay, what GM asks, what rare, strange, or adverse aspect of this formula or design has kept it in obscurity, out of common usage? Like, why hasn't anyone else thought of this before?
Oh man, it's really damn hard to build.
It could be that just the resources involved are just too much.
Yeah. I think it's both. It's both. It requires very like fine parts and engineering, and also the like to like test it effectively. You kind of have to like start killing people to see if it works.
Okay.
And that in and of itself is both distasteful and legally dangerous.
Requires
only a Scoven would ever think of it.
So it requires testing on live subjects.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to start with like a bunch of cats and stuff, probably.
Oh god.
Every
good psychopath.
Okay,
does.
so like just the
live subjects.
Yeah.
Temporarily live subjects.
so just the nature of the kind of test that you would have to do makes it extremely illegal, regardless of the fact that it would be immediately forbidden by the spirit wardens.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig that. That's great. Then the player asks, what drawbacks does this item have, if any? I choose one or more from the drawbacks list, or by saying there are none. Yeah, right. Let's see where the drawbacks. Okay. Complex, conspicuous, consumable, rare.
This is just eventually, like after I invent it, can we then make them with some reliability?
Oh, you mean like in bulk?
I don't know. Define bulk. I was thinking like as something that we could sell to.
Oh
as
man.
part of our wares.
Well, it wouldn't be. I think something like this would be. You could make multiple of them, but it wouldn't be like a constant supply. You know what I mean? Like you know, you'd have a few on hand that you could give to.
But even I think even at that point they'd be worth something.
Yeah, they'd be worth. Oh my god, it'd be like priceless. Sorry guys, let me just figure this out.
Yeah, no worries.
Conspicuous. I think I like conspicuous because it makes sense. This creation doesn't go unnoticed. Take +1 heat if it's used any number of times on an operation. You know, like people will notice like that you know that the crows didn't. You know, they just expect that to happen within minutes of someone dying. If it doesn't happen after an hour, people are going to notice.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to call it conspicuous. I think that makes sense. So yeah, you'll have to weigh taking heat versus being able to.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. A PC with the alchemist, artificer, or strange method special abilities invents and learns one special. You don't have that, right?
Not
yeah,
yet.
you have the potential though. Once you've invented a formula design, you can craft it by using a downtime activity. No one else can craft this invention unless they learn your design as a long-term project. If you acquire a formula design invented by another tinkerer, okay, blah, blah. All right. Okay, so crafting would be the next stage after you fill this clock.
I have to fill a whole clock to invent the damn thing.
And then you got to do another one to craft
Then
it.
I have to have artificer, and then I have to use downtime activities to make one of them.
Yeah, so it's long and arduous, but the payoff is going to be pretty fucking tits.
Okay, and how do I determine like quality of it? Like if it's minimum quality 8, can I even?
That'll be in the crafting roll.
Okay.
Depending on how you roll the craft, it depends. Gives you like what the actual quality is, but you must meet what I've determined is the minimum level for it to be the item that you want it to be, which is 8.
Okay. Right. Okay. Cool.
And that's a powerful item.
Right.
But I love it. And remember
that's only with regards to crafting, right?
Crafting only, yeah.
Potentially, if I create a formula, could I sell that formula?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Cool.
Yeah, just in case it might be, yeah. Like better hands than mine can make this shit. I just kidding.
Yeah.
So right now, what you're going to be rolling for is the research that you're doing and like your sheer genius and like, my God, what if you did this?
Yeah.
You know.
So I think this is. I mean, it's a tinker roll, right? And it's a montage of Clinch. Like he's got like it's like a cage full of like cockroaches and stuff, and then he's got this electroplasmic like crank in his back.
Oh no.
And like trying to like
See what happens when you mess
Chris.
with the dark arts, Chris?
Yeah, exactly. Chris, you might
This is your video feed, man.
Chris, drop out real quick and come back in real quick if you can hear us.
And imagine this: he's in the back room tinkering with this, right? And the whole time, Rind is lying in bed going, "Oh." And every so often, Adric comes in, drunk as a skunk. What do you guys do? Oh God, you're still and leaves.
Right. Chris, can you hear us?
I think he's gone. So
He's toast, man. Blades in the Dark is ruined.
Oh no.
Bum, bum, bum.
Well, this is actually
So,
a
John,
good.
he
Hold on.
fails at his experiment and inadvertently turns me into a permanently undead.
We actually went over a little bit of time for the hour, so this actually might be a good place to take a break and
Break time.
come back when Chris has got his stuff together. So we'll see you in a little bit.